What's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? This is Big Cheds, hanging out here with my good buddy Big Chonis on a Monday. How we doing, Big Chonis?
Hey Cheds, good morning. How are you today?
Fantastic. I just had my cheese, eggs, and my Welch's grape, and I thought we might conversate for a few. How's that sound, buddy? You want to look at some Litecoin? You want to look at some? Oh, is my mic? I'm good. Your mic's not good. It looks like my sound's coming through on this end, Big Jonas.
Yeah, you're right, Cheds. We are all good right now.
All right, let's go ahead and get the party started. I woke up to a nice dip here. Nice meaning, we look for action. If you're sitting around, you're watching a tennis match, and there's no action, it's boring. So we had some action here. We finally broke the lower trend line we've been talking about in our video last night. We did have an episode of Let's Talk Crypto last night. This is Big Cheds once again, guys, and we did break that lower trend line we've been talking about on the 4-hour chart. And we had the kind of dip you and I look for, Big Jonas, where we have that dip below the lower Bollinger on a 4-hour period. What do you see is going on right now?
Yeah, Cheds, from last night's show, we were talking about where we thought the market was going to take us in the next couple days or so. We're talking about some weakness in terms of volume and especially money flow over the past couple days. Not really much flowing in the market here. And, when we ended our show last night, I basically was thinking about this buy that I had in on Litecoin, around the 150 area there. I was
Hmm.
trying to kind of have an understanding about why I had it there. And, when we were basically topping off a couple of days ago at the 170 area there, which was basically where Bitcoin was a little over 9,000 there, I was thinking if we were to fall from that moment, what would be a really good entry point? What would be a really good risk versus reward point? And I
Hmm.
had the buys in around 150, 151 on Litecoin there,
Hmm.
and which would basically put us around 82 to 8 on Bitcoin. And then last night I was thinking about just how the market action was playing out with such light volume, light money flow, and the way we were kind of slowly trickling down kind of to that low mid to low 8,000 range there. And I thought to myself, because we're slowly trickling down here, I feel we're actually a lot more weaker, a lot more bearish than I had originally thought. And
Hmm.
basically I pulled my buy on the 150 there, and I'm actually pretty happy I did, because what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing the potential here to have a pretty nasty downfall here. We're right. Let's start with Bitcoin if we could. Yeah, right there. We're right at that, you know, uh, 8,100 range here. And what we're seeing here is we're trying to find some consolidation here. We're right at 8,000. This is kind of that expected bounce point we were kind of watching for the past couple days, a quick dip from 9 to 8. But I feel because we kind of slowly trickled down to this 8,000 range here, I don't have a lot of conviction here on this current little pop here. And I think we're going to see a lot more downward pressure. I think once we break 8,000, which I believe we will,
Hmm.
um, we're we're gonna basically fall pretty quickly through the 7,000. So what I'm looking for now is basically a really oversold situation, and I think we're at the beginning of that basically about to play out. So what I'm looking for is we're kind of probably retest 7,500 range, maybe over the next day or so. But really, I'm looking for kind of your next nut bottom here based on a super oversold situation. Basically break that 7,000 and put us to roughly around 68, 6,900, which I believe would correspond a Litecoin price somewhere around 135 to 129. So
Hmm.
that's kind of what I'm waiting for right now. I want to pick my entries smart. I want to be smart, basically saying, are we in a super oversold situation? And we're not there yet. I expect a little trickle bounce here and there, couple bull traps over the next several hours, but I'm just not seeing a lot of conviction here. The daily is still showing substantial kind of deflation in terms of money flow. So I almost feel this is the beginning of this next downward phase here. And I believe we have, further to drop.
All right. That was good stuff, Big Jonas. And guys, this is Big Cheds. We're just doing a quick update for you here, Monday, March 26th. I am Cheds. That is Jonas. I agree with some of what you're saying. I actually think and we talk about this a lot, where I post like a Litecoin chart, and people will say, why are you even posting the Litecoin chart? It's the same as Bitcoin. And I tell people you want to look for divergence. So I'm actually seeing some divergence right now. So actually, I don't know that uh, Bitcoin and Litecoin are exactly on the same path right now. Because I just real quickly, Big Chonis, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart, and I'm looking to see what's going on here. We're putting in a little bit better candle here on the 4-hour for Bitcoin than we are for Litecoin. If you look at Litecoin, we really smashed through that low from the prior candle. And Bitcoin actually has a pretty tight range. We're putting in a spinning top here, almost a bit classic doji right now. So I actually think we have to watch these two a little bit differently. I think Litecoin's going to find its bottom quicker because I think we might see that flush on Litecoin potentially to, I can definitely see Litecoin going to 138, 139. I can see Litecoin going to 140, 145. Bitcoin might hold here. I don't know that it doesn't. Maybe you're right. Maybe Bitcoin goes to whatever 7,800 possibly. But I'm seeing that dip. I'm seeing that dip below the Bollinger, and I'm seeing the follow-up candle here with 1 hour to go in the 4-hour with Bitcoin, where I'm not convinced that it's not going to hold. And the big thing, Big Jonas, and this is Big Cheds. If I go 1 hour, Big Jonas, on Bitcoin, we've actually maintained our higher lows so far. If you go back, let's go with the Coinbase GDAX chart. 2 hours ago, we did hit 80-20, and we've held that 80-20 with a low 80-30 this hour. So if we can maintain an 80-20 posture for a low here on Bitcoin, I actually think it's looking pretty decent for a bounce here in the short term. Litecoin, however, has already broken its low from 2 hours ago. So that's why I think we have to look at these two a little bit differently and kind of keep an eye on them. Does that make sense to you, Big Jonas?
It does, Chad, and I really can't disagree with that. I think well, for starters, I do agree that Litecoin is definitely showing more of a weaker kind of feel to it right now. Bitcoin, from a percentage standpoint, has actually held up a couple percentage points better. Um, my fear here, though, is that it just was so easy for us to slowly drop to this 8,000 range here. Just hard for me to think that this is such a good stable floor right now.
Hmm.
And I think once we break 8,000 and start to see a seven handle there, a lot of the kind of conviction in the market is kind of turned more bearish. I did take a look at the depth chart
Let's go ahead and
on
do that. Let's do that.
GDAX just to get a sense. Basically, I'm on the Bitcoin depth chart, and I basically zoomed all the way out to try and get a sense kind of where the money is parked.
Yep.
It's bearish. I wouldn't say it's super duper bearish. I've seen it a lot more bearish. And I think a lot of that just has to do with people are trying to confirm, is this 8,000 temporarily, a good bottom area potentially. But I'm definitely not seeing any bullishness. Let's put it that way. I'm not seeing some of the extreme bearishness that I have seen in previous dips. So you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if we try and hold this 8,000 area. Could be for the better part of the day here, trying to see if we can find some support buyers in here. But I don't have a lot of faith in it. I think as soon as we basically break this 8,000, the fall through the sevens could be pretty precipitous, and 7,500 will definitely be that next step here. Now, remember, a
Hmm.
week ago, when we bottomed out at 7,300-ish, we basically had a double tap there to confirm that was a good bottom, which basically allowed us to have a pretty nice run that brought us back to 9,000. I believe if we want to have another decent bounce, we're going to have another one of these oversold areas here. And for that to happen, that would definitely put Bitcoin in the low 7,000s and bring Litecoin into the low 130s. This is going to take a while to
Um,
play out. I think we're still early
let's
in the
slow down.
analysis.
Let's slow down here. I mean, I don't know. I can't really. You don't talk about the lower sevens until we have a lower trend line to deal with. It's like you've got your dates already in the room, and you're talking about another date, right? We got the date in front of us. The girl we're taking to the prom is this lower trend line. Until that holds, until that's violated, to talk about lower 7,000, we have to respect the lady here, the lower trend line, because that's,
Well, I agree, and I like to respect all of the little ladies out there. That's for sure. That's why I think we will hit 7,500, and we'll actually see somewhat of a little bounce there. I wouldn't be surprised if a bounce off 75 would basically allow us to retest that 8,000 level again. But
75.
that 8,000 would then be considered a resistance level versus the current support it is now,
Hmm.
and that's a little scary to me. So I think 75, based on your trend line, is definitely where we're probably going to be headed next, and
Hmm.
see if we can kind of hold that trend line there. But now we're talking about trying to hold this trend line, and a break of that,
Hmm.
basically puts us to that lower point. So I absolutely agree that that trend line is still in play and is kind of where I believe we might be headed to test
Hmm.
that and see if we have any conviction from hitting that to move up from there.
Well, I mean, I think also even before the trend line, we do have some pretty serious support on the 4 hour around 78, 75. If we look at that, you know how we made our low, you referenced that low, Big Chonis, and this is Big Cheds, guys. You referenced that low at 72. Just before that, we had made a low here around 78 where we had that nice hammer off the bottom, kind of a morning star reversal, three candle setup back there. So that 78, we draw that out now. That's going to be support as well to keep an eye on. Real quick, guys, you can find me on Twitter at Big Cheds. Happy to hopefully answer your questions. A lot of them can be answered in the Complete Beginner's Guide to Crypto Currency Trading on the blog, chedstrading.blogspot.com. A lot of great articles. You gotta get started here if you're new to crypto, and on YouTube. Ched's Trading is where you can find me. Big Jonas, you're gonna be on Twitter later, is that right?
Yeah, Chads, I finally basically set my computer system up to a point where I feel I can pump out some pretty solid tweets.
Mm-hmm.
I've been kind of slow rolling my Twitterness to feel that I was kind of be in a position here to get ready to respond to a lot of people that listen to our show and want to get some of our opinions on stuff. So I'm very happy to be involved in the Twitterverse, and I'll get some more information about my account out probably sometime later on this afternoon. And I want to
Mm-hmm.
keep people up to date on what my thoughts are on Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ether, and really the whole crypto universe. And because I have a lot of thoughts, as you well
You
know.
do, you do. Sometimes they're a little bit verbose, but just like I sometimes can go off on my own tangents, and I think that's why we're a good team, is we keep each other in track here. Let's just do a quick Ether update because we have promised Ethereum update, and then we'll wrap it up here. We just wanted to give you guys, guys and gals, a quick update. A couple guys talking crypto. We are not advisors. We're just two guys, two friends who have fun talking crypto. Um, Big Jonas, Ethereum on the 4 hour. It actually looks a little better than Litecoin right now. We talked about last night how actually Ethereum looked worse at Bitcoin and Litecoin. Ethereum seems to be now kind of riding with Bitcoin. We're in this follow-up candle on the 4 hour. We're forming a doji right now, and potentially finding a bottom potentially, and on the 1 hour, and we still held the higher low. Looks like we just finished our hourly candle. So yeah, we on Ethereum we still did hold the higher low from 3 hours ago. What are you seeing on Ethereum? Kind of the same as Bitcoin?
Yeah, Chad, I'm seeing that as well. We kind of had a nasty dip this morning that broke $500 and put us back to this, 475. I'm noticing Ether really loves to travel in $25 increments. We bottomed at 555-ish back in the day, and then most recently we bottomed literally right at 450 on the dot. And then once we broke that 500, 475 basically showed us a little bit of support there. But as you see, when we tried to kind of come back and retest that 500 range, we never made it. We only hit a 495 there. I'm definitely seeing some continued bearishness on Ether. Yeah, it's kind of riding a little bit in lockstep here, but something that kind of caught my eye about how the big boys are basically playing here, Bitcoin, Ether, and Litecoin, is when we had our really nasty drop back in early February when Bitcoin hit 6,000 range. On the 24-hour percentage-wise, we were down, I believe, 30 to 33%. And I'm wondering if this is that next moment here where we have to see all these coins down, over 20% in a 24-hour period. Really haven't seen that for a while here, and I'm wondering if this is that moment here. With Ether specifically, we are seeing some decent leveling out here on the 15-minute, and the hourly basically is showing some pretty solid conviction of this 185 area. I'm just concerned. I don't believe it will hold up that long, and like the other ones, it's basically kind of do what I think Bitcoin will do and how that plays out through the day.
All right, excellent call. Really good analysis. I think we're going to have to keep an eye on it. Once again, please feel free to check out the blog, chedstrading.blogspot.com. Check out the Twitter page at Big Cheds and subscribe on Twitter. I am Big Cheds, and that was Big Chonis. We're just coming to you live here Monday, March 26th, 2018. We are happy you guys decided to stop by for a brief visit, and we hope you stop by again soon.
Hey, Cheds.
Yo.
Real quick here, I just want to do a quick shout out to everybody on the chat. It's great to see everybody here. I know there's a lot of people that don't get to hear our live show when we do it in the evening time in the U.S. East Coast range. So it's great to see everybody kind of around the world that hasn't had a chance to hear us live. This update basically was going to be just on the big majors. Perhaps this evening we'll come back on live and talk about all these alts that everybody wants to kind of dissect and see what our opinions are on. So it's great to be able to chat with everybody and see some new faces here on the on the chat.
You got it. Well put, my friend. Everybody take care. Thanks again. Bye.